Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Dream It, Do It special here on ACTV. We're so thankful that you've chosen to tune in with us today. And we're going to tell you a little bit about what Dream It, Do It is and how it's used within our schools to really highlight manufacturing in Anderson County and educate our students on what manufacturing is. It's not the same as you think of from the 1920s by any means. We have some beautiful manufacturers here in Anderson County that we get to work with on a daily basis, and we're just so thankful that they've chosen to partner with us as we try to highlight them with our middle school students in Anderson County. We had several great entries this year to our Dream It, Do It program, and you're going to get to see those a little bit later in this program. But today, we want to highlight just a few that worked with our Anderson County middle schools in the county. And the first is Protomet. Protomet worked with Clinton Middle School this year. And Clinton Middle School made a beautiful brochure that you'll see here in a little bit. We also had SL Tennessee, who worked with Lake City Middle School. Techmer PM, who worked with Norris Middle School. And then Norwood Middle School had the great opportunity to work with Clayton Homes here on the other end of the county. So it was a great year for Dream It, Do It. It was a difficult year. You're going to hear a little bit about that as well today. But it was a really good year considering everything with our Dream It, Do It programs. And we couldn't do the Dream It, Do It program without two strategic partners. And we're here today with the Anderson County Chamber of Commerce President, Rick Meredith, who kind of helped get Dream It, Do It off the ground through the chamber. But we couldn't have also done it without our friends from CNSY12. And Ms. Kristen Walschlager is here with us today from CNSY12. So, Rick, my first question is to you. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the history of Dream It, Do It and what its purpose is and how it kind of all came about?
Sure. Thank you, Jared. Well, about 4 years ago, I was at a Tennessee Chamber of Commerce and Industry meeting, and there was a snippet, a little video shown to the entire Tennessee Chamber. And it just caught my eye. So if you can dream it, you can do it. And come to find out, this program started in Pennsylvania, right outside of Pittsburgh, with the manufacturing base there. And then the president of the Tennessee Chamber of Commerce granted licensing to the other chambers. It started in Memphis, and Memphis was able to get it off the ground a little bit. And I said, hey, maybe we need this in East Tennessee. So then I found out that we can apply for a license because it is copyrighted and trademarked, and applied for the license, $1,500, which was the best investment the Chamber of Commerce has ever made, in my eyes, because it's now lasted almost 6 years, 4 years, 4.5 years.
Six,
yeah,
right.
6. So then I brought it back home, and at that time, Mr. Jim Zonar was chairman of our Education Workforce Committee, and he brought it to. We sat and talked, how can we do this? Immediately met with the schools, figured it out. First year was a little trial run. We just incorporated the county middle schools, and then we passed along to Oak Ridge. So now it's a county-wide effort. Obviously, the COVID year kind of put us a setback, but that's pretty much the history and how it started, and we plan to continue it. And with CNSY12's help as a good partner, and Kristen and her leadership, we may make it regional. But we always know it started in Anderson County.
Yeah, we kind of hang our hat on that. It's a great program. We are in season 6. That's what we call it. We go by season. I feel like we're on like a reality TV show or something, but this is season 6 of Dream It, Do It. And it's really kind of changed in my, from the experience that we've seen of kids that actually did this program as 8th graders in the first year. They've now graduated, and they have a different view of what manufacturing is.
And actually, some have graduated and actually went to work at ISON or SL. We've basically found that out. So that right there makes you feel good.
Yeah, one of the great needs that we have in our community right now is a workforce. Mm-hmm. A lot of our manufacturers are hurting for people to come and work, and I think this program or programs like this help just shine a light on some of the jobs that are offered through manufacturers like SL, Protomet, Clayton, and we've got some great partners here. We also have ISON and Eagle Bend that have helped us with Dream It, Do It in the past, and we just have some really great partners with all those guys. and I can't, take my hat off to them and applaud them for their hard work and giving a point person to the schools to allow them to come in. Now, traditionally, our kids that participate in Dream It Do It actually get to go into the manufacturers. And Kristen, why don't you tell us a little bit about what that looks like as far as our traditional year? What does a traditional year of Dream It Do It look like?
Yeah, so a traditional year usually kicks off each fall when school gets started back in October. And we have a drawing and we determine the schools that are participating with the industries. And then we allow them to, we provide GoPro cameras and we allow them to use their cell phones if they choose to. And they actually are able to make a connection that day at the kickoff with the liaison, the person from the company who's going to be kind of walking them through this process. So from that point, the teachers have and the students have the whole entire school year to get into that industry. And we have an official rubric of grading, things that they need to look at, things they need to capture. But basically, the question that we have for them to answer in the video that they create is, what's so cool about manufacturing or today's manufacturing? And the students really are able to get in there and see firsthand an adult work situation and what that looks like, and capture that and see how many different careers and the variety of careers that are available. And through this program, they can also learn ways that they can take a career and technical education path so that their junior and senior years in high school, they can actually partner with schools like Roan State Community College and other areas, TCATs and other places, and they can graduate high school with their own graduation certificate, and they can also graduate with a 2-year degree as well. And they're able to start work and they're able to use the funds that are available through the state of Tennessee to pay for their classes and pay for that training. And then they don't have to incur the expense if they choose not to take the 4-year college path.
It's going to sound like I'm kind of throwing off on college, and I'm not. I went to college, and it was important for me. But maybe if I had to do it over again, manufacturing might be a route that I might choose. I think about a college kid racking up $80,000 or $100,000 in debt to go to school, and which is important. Don't get me wrong. But a lot of these students, if manufacturing is for them, they figure out a way by the time they graduate high school, they walk right into a job right after high school, making double what they're paying somebody else to teach them. They're making $40,000 or $50,000 a year. So when that 4-year time, they've made $100,000 instead of being $100,000 in debt. And I think that's an important statistic for a lot of students to realize. Rick, back to you. We, at the Chamber, I work for the Chamber of Commerce too. I'm the public relations coordinator. Rick is my boss, and I enjoy what I do there. But our partnership with CNS, how important is that to making sure that this Dream It Do It program happens?
Well, obviously, when CNS jumped on board in its beginning, they offered at that time GoPro cameras and other prizes, and that we thought that was the best thing. Then they could use the camera the next year. But with their leadership, they stepped up and said, let's put money back in the classroom, which goes to these teachers that are helping with these kids, and back at whether it's a 3D printer or whatever they so choose to use it. That's just been immensely important, and we couldn't do it without the financial partnership.
Yeah, so today we're going to award let's see, it's $1,000 to the first place, $750 to the second place, and $500 to the third place. So around $2,250 is going to be awarded today to go back into the classroom for these students and to buy, like you said, 3D printers or other things that they want to add to their tool bag as far as teaching these kids, and I think that that's invaluable. And I really appreciate it as a community member, the investment that CNS is making back into the schools. That's so important. But we made mention that this year has been completely different than any year that we've experienced before. Because of COVID, the students were unable to go into the manufacturers like they traditionally do and get video footage and capture video footage. So it's really been a different type of project for these students. So, Kristen, why don't you explain a little bit how we transitioned from the traditional video format? They make 2.5-minute videos, and we had a rubric about what they needed to cover in those videos. We transitioned from that into what we did this year. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, this year we wanted to keep the main goals and objectives of the program, and we needed to do it in a teacher-friendly way because the teachers are very overwhelmed with just all the demands that COVID provided for their instruction this year. So we needed to find a way to do that. We knew that schools weren't necessarily inviting people on campus. They weren't always allowing that, and they weren't allowing kids to go off campus. So we took advantage of Zoom and using that, and teachers were very comfortable with that. We kind of checked a little bit on that to see their comfort level with that. And so they're comfortable with Zoom. And then we also looked at a way that the kids could express themselves creatively. You know, everyone talks about STEM careers. Well, there's a STEAM career, STEAM, emphasis as well, and that's art. And so I think this brought in a whole different avenue of creativity. Yes, I love the video and being able to tell the visual story. That's my favorite, and I'm hoping that we get to go back to that. But this was just a great opportunity to tap into some technology skill sets, to think a little bit about marketing. And so they're not only having to capture information about what does the company make, what do they pay, how many employees do they have, what are the varieties of careers. They were able to talk about what positions are they needing. And so basically they were able to create a brochure that the companies could actually use as a workforce development tool, as something for hiring that they could just tap into and use going forward as they're trying to keep these positions filled, that they are constantly in need of a workforce. And that's the whole point of this. So to have the kids kind of help them come up with a way to get their workforce on, I think was just a good opportunity for kids to think about it in a little bit different way.
Well, it's also great for any business or manufacturer to have a community handout. We don't really know what you do. Here's a little brochure that'll tell you a little bit about what we do. And a lot of people don't realize just the amount of technology that we have in our community. I know everybody thinks of the plants. They think of the National Laboratory, and it has a lot of great technology. But as we discussed before, it's kind of behind the wall. A lot of people don't see that. But we have some great manufacturers and technology right here in our own backyard that is very important to our region, that is a game changer for our region, and we have a thriving workforce here. But because of COVID, that's kind of been hit pretty hard recently, and so having a program like this already in place to really recruit employees to manufacturers is so important. Rick, I want to touch on one other thing before we go to our Zoom presentation of our awards, and I want to touch on the new facility that's coming to Anderson County, the new TCAT and Roan State facility. And I can't say that this program is directly tied to that, but I think it certainly helps that we have this program to help bring that school into our community, because we're showing that we have made an investment in our manufacturers. And tell us a little bit about the TCAT Roan State facility that's coming to our area. They're building it. Hopefully they're going to start moving in soon, but tell us a little bit about that.
So that's the new Clinton campus, Tennessee College of Applied Technology. Fantastic project, probably 4 years in the making about the time that we started this program. Did Dream It, Do It help? Absolutely, because that showed the higher ups in higher education, hey, we need a facility, and Clinton was very competitive. Fortunately enough, we landed it in a partnership with Roan State, right next door to SL. So these students will be able to go in there and train and literally walk across the street to 2 large manufacturers and do the on-the-job training. It's really unheard of. It's just going to be a great benefit. They'll probably start moving in August, and hopefully we'll have a ribbon cutting in October, and they'll start classes in January. Right now is the time frame. But yes, Dream It, Do It will just continue. That'll just give us another layer to maybe go up there and do something with Dream It, Do It as a whole group. But it's going to be a fantastic facility and help put Anderson County back on the map, because it's the only TCAT school in Anderson County.
All right. Well, we have a temporary facility where a few classes are being taught out of, but we really needed that. And SL was great enough to donate the property that facility currently sits on. They're in the process of finishing up the build, and it's going to be an exciting thing for Anderson County to have that college right here, that community college right here in our own backyard.
That's right, absolutely.
So thank you guys so much. We're going to take a short little break, and I'm going to show you the last winning video that we had for Dream It, Do It when it was the video presentation. And when we come back, you're going to get to meet some of the students and the teachers that did such a wonderful job with this year's Dream It, Do It East Tennessee program. And we look forward to showing you all the hard work that they've put in. Again, thank you so much for tuning in with us. We'll be right back. Hello, and thank you for joining us today as we are celebrating the Dream It, Do It program from East Tennessee. I'm here today with the president of the Anderson County Chamber and my boss, Rick Meredith, and our very good friend and colleague from CNSY 12, Miss Kristen Walschlager. And I don't ever know if I pronounced that correctly. But more importantly today, we are here with the students from the 4 middle schools that participated in this year's East Tennessee Dream It, Do It. And we're excited to have them tell us a little bit about their projects, about the companies that they got to meet and know, and about the beautiful brochures that they made for us this year. As you heard about in section 1 of this project presentation that we're doing today, the projects had to switch up a little bit this year because of COVID, and my applause go out to the students and the teachers that really rose to the occasion and made this possible and made some really awesome brochures. So today we are going to start with Clinton Middle School, and I'm going to ask them to unmute themselves. We have them with us today via Zoom, and I'm going to ask Clinton Middle School to unmute themselves and say hello to everybody.
Hello.
Hey,
How are you guys?
All right. So I need
let's start with Lucas. I see Lucas is from Clinton Middle School. Lucas, tell me a little bit about your project. Tell me about the group that you got to work with on your project.
I think Lucas is a little bit camera shy. Ella, however, is a great spokesperson, and I think that the team had already worked out that she was going for them, if that's okay.
Let's see here. Somebody must be muted. Miss Claiborne, are you muted?
She is.
I am.
There you go. Now we can hear you.
Said that Lucas is just a little bit camera, so
that's okay.
Ella can speak for him. They already worked that out.
Well, Ella, why don't you tell us a little bit about the manufacturer that you got to work with this year and what you thought of the project, and just tell us a little bit about your experience with this year's project.
So this year we worked with Protomet, and so we made a brochure, and it was really, really nice to work with Protomet because they provided a lot of resources for us to use, like images and information about their company and what they do. So it was good.
Were you surprised at the type of things that they make right here in our own backyard?
Yes.
So what was the coolest thing that you found out that they make at Protomet?
Probably the laser thing. that shoots out shapes. That's pretty impressive if you ask me.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I'm going to have Andy's going to put up your brochure, and I'm going to reach across the table here and pick up your brochure. It looks like you had some great pictures. Did Protomet provide those pictures for you?
Some of them we pulled from company videos, and then some of them were provided. Yes.
And that screen grab was actually from the Dream It Do It video from year before last.
Okay. So now, Miss Claiborne, I know that this is your first year. This is kind of more up your alley as far as the graphics design and things like that is concerned. What was it like for you as a new teacher in Dream It Do It?
Well, I have worked with Mr. Lewis for a few years just on logistics, getting kids where they need to be. But this year was going to have some challenges. The content of Dream It Do It really fits well with my curriculum in careers and exploration. So, and this has been a great team to work with. We've done a lot of team building and a lot of their work ethic, and it's just blown me away. They're real go-getters.
Well, your all's brochure turned out great. Thank you guys so much. It's beautiful. And at the end of our little presentations here, we're going to announce our winners. So thank you so much for a beautiful brochure. I know Protomet was probably very pleased with it. And it looks like it's something that they might be able to use to recruit a workforce or just let people know what it is that exactly that they do. So thank you for your beautiful brochure. And we're going to move on to our next contestant in the Dream It Do It program. We're going to move to Lake City Middle School. And Mr. Bass, we're going to move to you guys. If you don't care to mute your screen, and Mr. Bass, I'll bring you up. And
yes.
There you are. So who do you have with you there today?
I have Trent, Stephen, Kaylee, and Maddie.
Well, great. It's great to have you guys. And if you want to, why don't you guys take just a few minutes and tell us a little bit about your project and who you got to work with and what it was like working with the manufacturer that you worked with.
We got to work with SL, and it was really fun because we got to learn about all the car parts and headlights they made and all the people they worked with.
So what was something surprising that you learned about a manufacturing company here in East Tennessee?
They started with a bunch of like car companies and used like bike lamps for bicycles.
So the company started making bicycle lamps, and that surprised you that they went from bicycle lamps to working for big companies like GM and Ford, right?
Yeah.
So who was it that you actually got to work with over at SL? Who was your contact over there?
Steve Brooks, and he really helped us a lot with answering questions and giving us the information we need.
That's awesome. Now, you have an interesting character on the front of your brochure. Can you guys tell me about your character on the front of your brochure?
That's SL's logo, or that's their character they use that they came up with.
Okay. And besides headlights and taillights, what are some other things that they make?
Circuit boards.
They make circuit boards.
And they make gear shifters, I believe. And what was something that you were surprised about the work environment of SL?
You got to go through a bunch of testing and stuff to get in SL. So it's not like just any random person can do it.
Well, guys, you made a beautiful brochure, and I think it's something definitely that SL will be able to use in the future with recruiting a workforce and just letting the community know all the things that they do. And thank you guys so much for your hard work. It's a great brochure. Is there anything else you want to share with us before we move on?
I'd like to thank for the opportunity with SL to work with him.
Yeah, they're a good group, aren't they?
Yes.
Well, thank you guys so much. We're going to move on to our next contestant on the Dream It, Do It program. We're going to go to Norris Middle School. Is Norris Middle School on here? I thought I saw Ben on here earlier. I don't see him on here now. He may be having some issues. So we're going to move on and see if he pops up back in here. So we're going to go to Norwood. Mr. Robert Steffen, are you there, Mr. Robert Steffen?
We are here, sir. How are you?
Doing great. It's good to have you on here today. We are looking at your brochure, and it looks like you guys got to work with Clayton Homes, and you got to work with them. What are some things that your team learned about Clayton Homes, and how did you come about making your brochure?
Would anyone like to?
I will.
All right. Introduce yourself.
My name?
Yeah.
Okay. So, my name is Samantha Altum. One thing I learned about Clayton was that they are very efficient and they really like to help the environment. And like their statement is that they would like to leave the world a better place than they found it.
Did that surprise you at all?
No, not really. I mean, what else do we expect from people making homes?
Yeah, well, I'm just saying the fact that they are so, environmentally friendly and try to use as much as they can. For a big company like that, it may not be the most cost effective for them to do it that way. So did it surprise you that they cared enough about the environment to make sure that they used every resource possible and reduce the waste that they have?
Just a little bit, because most companies don't really care about the environment. So I was really happy to be able to work with a company that did.
So what are some other cool facts that you learned about Clayton Homes?
And what's your name?
I'm Lily Hill, and not only did they make modular homes for people, they also made other things like college dorms, military barracks, and other things like that, which was surprising to me.
And Robert, this is your second or third year working with Dream It, Do It. I know it's been
correct
for you, going from our format that we used previously to making a brochure. What was that transition like for your kids? They hadn't maybe worked on the project before, but what was the big difference between that and what you got to experience this year?
The big difference, a lot of the students remembered the video component, like getting to go to the facilities and actually see what's going on and record that, and then trying to tie it all in with a interesting story. They did miss that element, but I think once the team was assembled and they were able to speak with the Clayton liaison, things started coming together and they started to enjoy it and see what they were coming up with.
Yeah, that was definitely a piece of this that we all missed. We had all
Yes.
that we would be able to do the video portion this year, but it just didn't work out with COVID. And
Yes.
hopefully, crossing our fingers, we'll be back to the traditional Dream It, Do It format for next year, and the students will get in the manufacturers and learn more about what it is that they actually are. And the big story that we try to tell is that manufacturers aren't dirty workplaces. They're most of the facilities are really nice. They pay a good wage, and it's a great place to work. And we're just trying to highlight that with this program and also show off the talent of a lot of your students. So our hat comes off to you guys. And thank you guys so much for being with us today and allowing us just to recognize you a little bit. Traditionally, we have a big banquet, and we have food, and we get to award awards and things like that. But just because of COVID this year, we were unable to do that. And I really hate that for the group of students that worked with Dream It, Do It this year. But thank you guys so much for your hard work and your diligence to making this program continue. Because we could have thrown our hands up and given up, but we didn't. We were able to push forward And my hat goes off to you guys. And thank you so much for helping us make this as successful as it has been. Now I'm going to turn it to Miss Kristen, and she has some awards that she wants to give to you guys. But before we do, I just want to let you know we had nearly 15,000 people vote on these brochures. We were just under it. We didn't quite hit 15,000. If I remember correctly, it's the most votes we've ever received for a Dream It, Do It competition. Normally we're in the 5,000-6,000 range, and we got the nearly 15,000 this year. And so I think you were probably calling Meemaw and Peepaw and the manufacturers and whoever else to get people to vote. And it was awesome to see that many votes come in. So I'm going to turn it to Miss Kristen Walschlager, and she's going to award some awards for you guys, and you're going to bring home a little bit of money for your school and for your programs.
Hey guys, I just want to take a minute to compliment you on what a fantastic job that you did. We are just thrilled to be able to sponsor this competition from Y12 National Security Complex. And so, yes, as you may remember, or you were told, we always have a People's Choice Award that is given out. And that award goes to the school with the most votes. And this year's school that had the most votes in the People's Choice Award is Norwood Middle School. So congratulations to Norwood Middle School.
You received the most votes. And if I'm not mistaken, in the last competition, you guys also won this award. So we're going to come by the school and get that traveling plaque and make sure that you guys are added to that, because each year that gets to go and live with the school and kind of serve as bragging rights for the next year's competition.
So I've got to chime in here real quick. If I'm not mistaken, Clinton held it for 2 years in a row.
Lake City
held it for 2 years in a row.
And now Norwood has held it for 2 years in a row. So next year, if I'm a betting man, I'm putting all my eggs in the Norris Middle School basket.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So now for the monetary money that goes to the teacher at the school who is able to use that to purchase resources that will just help improve instruction, or maybe it's just something they've wanted to add. And this year's third place winner, and they do earn a $500 check, goes to Clinton Middle School. Congratulations, Clinton Middle School. And this year's second place winner wins $750, and that goes to Norris Middle School. Congratulations. And this year's first place winner with a $1,000 scholarship goes to the teacher of the same one with People's Choice winner. Congratulations to you, Norwood Middle School. We are so happy that we were able to just have the contest, and honestly, it's down to the teachers. And we just appreciate your commitment to career and technical education and your support for exposing students who are in 8th grade, who are maybe thinking about their academic path. They're going to be meeting with guidance counselors for high school. They're going to be determining their academic path, and some hopefully will choose paths in advanced manufacturing. And so we just want to thank you teachers so much for your commitment that you made in the fall, and you followed through with that, and you completed this competition, and your work was amazing. The students did a really great job. I'm always amazed at the creativity and the unique way that they express themselves and express and communicate businesses in a new way. So congratulations. Thank you for competing this year, and have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Well, congratulations, guys. That's awesome. Too bad we couldn't have 4 spots, but there's got to be a winner. And so we're excited to be able to award you guys with those funds. We're going to try to set up a opportunity. We got these big fake checks. Hopefully the first of the week that we're going to come by and be able to recognize you guys and get some pictures. And hopefully the first of next week we'll be swinging by your school to get that picture. We're hoping that we'll make that happen. As you all know, this competition is a couple weeks later. We're ending a couple weeks later than we normally do just because of the timeline for COVID and stuff. So we're going to try to make that happen. It may not happen, but we're going to definitely try and get by the school to recognize you guys. And we're just so thankful that you could be with us today. And this will conclude our time together today. And once again, congratulations to you guys for all your hard work. We really appreciate it.